Alright, it's the Mark IV Hunter. We're going to do a little cleaning. First thing is you put it in the safety position. Check the gun, make sure everything's loaded. Not loaded, just push the button. It pops right off. Bolts out. Got the cleaning picks. And what I do is I just get some patches, dip it in a little solvent, and I go down the barrel a little bit. Just got to make sure you don't hit the edge of the rod against the edge of the crown of this gun. That's how it gets not accurate. Can't go through the other end because the rod ain't long enough. And then what I do is I just go inside of here a little bit. Inside the receiver a little bit with the patch. First time you do it, the initial time, you want to get the most grit out. The patch is real dirty. And this is the Federal. See, so the Federal is still a little dirty, but it ain't gritty. It's dirty, blackish, but it don't have the grit. The Remington's got grit. It gets all in your trigger. So what I'll do is I'll go in here a little bit with the patches, get this all up good here. I get one of my picks. Put a little stuff on a patch. I'll throw it inside the receiver here, and I'll just take the pick and I go around, get all of this out pretty good. Put a dry patch in, soak up this stuff up here a little bit. Some of these napkins, just wipe it down a little bit. The outside. Just the bolt. All that grit on the bolt. So watch when you take this bolt off, this spring, because it's spring loaded. So watch your eyes. Take that spring off. Recoil spring. And there's your bolt. What I'll do is I'll get some this little brush that I got. I just soak it in here a little bit. And I clean this gun every time I shoot it. All my guns. I clean my guns when I come back from the range. Because if I don't want to take that the next time I go, it doesn't smell up the bag with all the gunpowder and it's ready to go. It doesn't take too long, maybe like 15 minutes. And here's your spring. I'll do the spring also. I dab this on. Don't go brushing that brush because you're going to get all that stuff splattering all over the fluid. I'm going to clean up the spring a little bit. Now you got inside the trigger here. all this grit. So what I'll do is I'll take a patch, dip it in some fluid, and I just go in here, because this way I can get down inside where the trigger is. And the first time you just want to run this patch all over it real good, pick up all the mess, the bulk of the dirt. Okay, see how dirty this patch is? That's the bulk of the dirt. Then I'll go to get another patch, put it in here. I take my little picks. I bought some new brass ones because some of these broke. And that's what I'll do. I'll just take this patch and I'll go in here. And get all inside the trigger. Now you see why I shoot the CCI in the rifles. This gun is easy to take apart, get to the trigger area. The 1022s, you got to pull them all apart to get in this trigger. You get all this dirt. But the CCI makes it a lot cleaner. So I'll save those CCIs or shoot those CCIs in that. The Federals, you can get away with shooting some cheap ammo in this gun because you can take it right apart and clean it. So I'll go in there with the patch and I get all that grit out of there. All that dirt. Look at that dirt. Then you go in there with a clean patch, and this way you can, grab up all of this dirt out of here. Best you can. I don't want to make the video too long. I'm looking at the clock while I'm doing this. But I want to show you the idea of getting in here. Get in there real good with the patch. Take a napkin, paper towel. And get all the rest, excess stuff. Okay? Yeah. Now how long did that take? Maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some oil. Put a little oil on the patch. Just a couple little drops. Goes a long way. This bottle lasts a long time. Just go down the barrel real nice. Go down the barrel. Just watch when you go in there. You don't want to hit the edge of this rod against the crown of the gun. Go in nice and slow. Take it easy. Take your time. Put a little oil in there. Go in here in a feed ramp. Put a little oil in a feed ramp. Go down the edge of the receiver a little bit, so that's oiled up. Here's your bolt. All cleaned up. I'll put the spring back in. Start on the end, and just you got to push it with your thumb. Get it even there with the hole. And I'll do is I'll just put a little dab of oil on that spring and a little bit on the bolt. Put a little oil on the bolt. I go under here, the bolt. Just put a little dab down here because that's where it slides. And here's your injector. Put a little bit of oil. I just put a little tight little bit of oil on that, on the injector. Move it back and forth. Now she's ready to go. Now the trigger in here, what I do with the trigger, I just put a dab of oil in the front here and in the back where the trigger rides. Where the moving parts go, just put a little oil on there. If you got too much, just take the patch, wipe it in there a little bit, put a little oil in there. It's all cleaned up. Put it together, the bolt back in. Got the bolt in. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to line the back up. Got a clip down on it. And there she is, all back together. Okay, that's why you put a little oil on the bolt, because where this rides here back and forth. And there, you're all cleaned up. What did that take me? 10 minutes? The magazines, if the magazines are kind of dirty, I'll wipe them down with a little napkin. These ain't too bad. But if you want to take them apart, there's a little pin in here. You push this little pin in, and this slides off. But you got to watch that spring. Put your hand over here because that spring goes out. Take it off the thing. Take this little pin off, and this little follower comes out. Then you can clean inside the magazine. Put the little follower in, put the pin in here, get it riding, and the spring is on a little metal piece with the spring. You put the spring in here on top of the follower, and that little metal piece, you got to keep it in with your thumb and ride this back in. It'll clip in place. And then you put your magazines together. I don't want to take them apart right now, but that's what I did with my Ruger Mark IV. It's already cleaned up. I'm going to put it back in the bag. So that's what I do. I always clean my guns after every time I shoot.